Welcome back to the Now You Know Sports Show, presented to you by Greenlight Auto Exchange and Rapco Media. I ain't gonna waste too much time this week. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dive right in because your boy was hotter than a pan of fish grease this weekend with his takes. Yes, sir. All the Florida Gators had to do this week was go into their home stadium on Saturday night and take a win against the LSU Tigers, and then go and face Alabama in the SEC title game for a chance at the college football playoffs. What did they do? Whoopsie doodle. Those boys took an L at home. That's not gonna get it done, folks. So just like they got caught looking ahead and they proved me right. About 10 o'clock Saturday morning, I posted on Facebook and I posted on Twitter. And I said very distinctly, I'm keeping an eye on this game because a dangerous team is one that has its back against the wall and one that's been written off for dead. And what happened? LSU came out and they proved me right. So LSU Tigers, I love it. Florida Gators, clown shoes. And while we on the subject of clown shoes, big dog Chris Rapp, can I just give a collective clown shoes to all the schools in the state of Florida? Or the big ones. Let's go with Florida State. Let's go with Florida. And let's go with Miami. Because Florida State, come on y'all, let's be honest. Florida State been wearing clown shoes for the last few seasons, and especially this season. It is not looking good for them. Miami Hurricanes, they let North Carolina come in their home stadium and lay a 60 burger on and rush for like 350 yards. That is not a good look. And University of Florida, and we already talked about them. In one night, they killed their quarterback's Heisman chances. And on top of it, let's give Florida extra clown shoes because they actually sat their All-American tight end, and I believe this was a healthy scratch. They were resting him for Alabama. How you gonna rest the man for Alabama and not even playing in a game that you have to win to get there? Come on now. That's inexcusable. So let's get clown shoes there. Florida State, Miami, Florida. Clown shoes for all of it. Let's go ahead and move on to a little bit of pro action from last week. And y'all, I'm gonna say it again, your boy hotter than fish grease all over again. I called the Bills over the Steelers. I told y'all right now, the Steelers are on red alert. That is a team that I believe has peaked about 3 weeks ago. I think they played the best football of the season right at that time. And ever since then, they've slowly been on the descent. They can't run the ball. Receivers are dropping balls. Two of their main defensive players are out and haven't played in at least 3 games. So that team, I'm pretty sure they're gonna still make the playoffs, but they are limping into the playoffs. The Buffalo Bills, on the other hand, Buffalo Bills are looking like a team that has not reached its potential yet, and they're still on the climb. I feel like that is a team that nobody's going to want to see in the playoffs. Not at all. Josh Allen is turning into a bona fide baller for the Bills Mafia. That defense, it ain't perfect, and it's not great, but it's darn sure good enough to get you through the playoffs with that kind of offense carrying it. So, Buffalo Bills, and y'all got a new fan right now. My Falcons are out of it, so I kind of, I'm going to jump bandwagon real quick, and I want to ride with the Bills Mafia because I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I like the Buffalo Bills to at least make it to the AFC Championship game, and depending on how they look, when the time comes, they might give the Kansas City Chiefs some problems. So let's move on to the next thing, y'all. We've got championship weekend coming up this week in college football. SEC title game, the ACC title game, and you also got a title game between Cincinnati and Tulsa, which could have some mild importance, and we're going to get to that too. So let's recap. Right off the top, Clemson and Notre Dame. Y'all, I know Notre Dame won the first game, and I had to eat crow because I came out and I said that I expected the Clemson Tigers to win that game by double digits and win big. I was wrong then. I bet I'm not wrong this time. I think Clemson comes out and lays the wood to Notre Dame in an ugly game. I think Clemson wins by 2 touchdowns, easily. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to make the difference, and that team is going to be highly motivated to not take 2 L's to the same squad in the season. But in the grand scheme of things, Notre Dame is sitting in a very good position right now. Because Notre Dame, I believe Notre Dame can lose this game and still get into the playoff. Same thing goes for Alabama right now. I feel like Alabama and Notre Dame are absolute locks for the college football playoff, because I believe that even if they were to lose their championship game, if Florida was to come out and beat Alabama by 3 touchdowns and it was an ugly game, I think that makes a difference. But if Alabama loses a close game or, by low double digits, I still think Alabama is walking right into that game, because the proof is in the pudding. Name 3 teams out there that you really think is going to beat Alabama right now. I can't. The only other 3 that I could think of would be Clemson, Ohio State. I really think that's about it. I don't think Notre Dame has a chance to beat Alabama, even if it came down to it. So, like I said, Alabama, Notre Dame, I think are virtual locks for the playoff. Now, everything else can get kind of dicey depending upon the situation here. Let's say Notre Dame does beat Clemson. That's going to put Clemson officially out. So you got Notre Dame, Alabama, possibly Ohio State if their situation works out. But who's your 4th? I think that you're looking at a possibility where it's going to come down to Texas A&M and Cincinnati if they win their game Saturday against Tulsa. I think one of those 2 teams could get in. And I can see the argument for both of them. Texas A&M is undefeated in the SEC except for a loss to Alabama. And Cincinnati hasn't lost the game at all. And if I'm being honest, I think it's going to be really hard for the college football playoff committee to put a 1-loss team in ahead of Cincinnati if it's undefeated. I just feel like you got to reward a team for being undefeated, but at the same time, you got to reward a team for playing an all SEC schedule and only losing 1 game. That's strong. So, to be honest, I'm looking for chaos. I would love to see Notre Dame beat Clemson and put them effectively out of it. And I just want to see chaos. I want to see something weird and crazy happen. What y'all think? That's just what I want. It's 2020, y'all. Let's let the craziness flow with it. Next thing I want to talk real quick about Heisman. And right now, you got 3-4 front runners for the Heisman. You got Kyle Trask, you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Devontae Smith, wide receiver from Alabama. And if I'm being honest, at this point, the Heisman Trophy has become a purely quarterback thing. Think of probably the last 20 Heisman winners. How many weren't quarterbacks? Maybe 3, 4? It's time to show some recognition to some of these other players that's out there. They're doing their job, but they're not quarterbacks, so they don't have their ball in the hand all the time. So I think you're going to start seeing, now that Kyle Trask has lost an ugly game for the Florida Gators, even though he played just fine, they still lost. If Devontae Smith can keep doing what he's doing, I think you're going to see a push by a lot of media outlets and a lot of sports talking heads that Devontae Smith should be getting a lot more pub for the Heisman, because I bet a lot of these people feel the same way I feel, and they're tired of seeing quarterbacks just get handed this award just all willy-nilly. If you're a quarterback and you're showing out, man, you got a chance to win the Heisman. If you're a defensive back, if you're a receiver, hot take, Kyle Trask isn't even the best player on the University of Florida's football team. Kyle Pitts is the undoubted best player on Florida's team. You don't agree with it? Come get in the comments. Tell me why I'm wrong. I'd love to hear why. So that's this week's show. Guys, catch me on Twitter at Now You Know Sport 1. Hit us up on YouTube. We're there too. Now You Know Sports. Follow the Facebook show, Now You Know Sports. Because look, y'all, I'm giving out free advice and free game. All my picks were hot this week. Everything went right. Everything went how I said. So until next time, y'all enjoy this weekend's games. Holla at your boy, and now you know.